Welcome to Bed Crime Stories Podcast. I'm your host, T, and if true crime is your jam and like me, you enjoy delving into unsolved cases, trying to figure out who done it, please consider subscribing. Also, if you enjoy my videos, please hit that like button. The Wells neighbor, Jody Sue Brown, is back at it, making nasty accusations about YouTubers, even though technically she's a YouTuber too, and quite a prolific one at that. Now she's saying that YouTubers are stealing the Wells mail. How in the heck would Jody Sue know that? She doesn't live in Beech Creek anymore, and I'm pretty sure she's not welcome there now anyways, based on all the slanderous things she said about her ex, Andy Bernard. Andy's mother and father live in Beech Creek after all, and they can't be happy about Jody Sue's allegations. Would some YouTubers steal the Wells mail to try and get info? I can actually think of some less than virtuous creators who might do that. But are those YouTubers hanging out in Beech Creek, far from their home states, just waiting for the mailman to show up? Doubtful. Maybe Jody Sue is getting sick of doing her usual venting, and this is simply a new topic of conversation. She does hang out on YouTube a lot. Maybe she needs content, and this is another way to complain. Or maybe she's the one stealing the mail, and this is projection. Just saying. A lot of people continue to debate the first of Don's letters. Some are saying they think someone else wrote the letter, especially since it was signed Summerwell's father. You would expect Don to sign that letter, Don Wells. I agree with that. Michelle After Dark even posted an example of Don's handwriting and compared it to this letter, and she concluded the handwriting is different. The recent letter is in cursive, and Don's earlier letter is in print. But you can still see that the letters are very, very different, even keeping this in mind. I took a look at the letters and I have to agree with Michelle. The F's, the O's, the L's are very different. In fact, all the letters are totally different if you really look close at them. And some letters in the print letter look like cursive letters. You don't have to be a handwriting expert to see these discrepancies. They're obvious. Only the exclamation points and periods bear a similarity. But hey, how much variety can there be in periods, right? One clever lady who posted a comment on my community page mentioned that Don never talks about education, but that those words have often, or that word, has often come out of another person's mouth related to the case. So who is that, and did he write this letter? That would be none other than Tim Mullen. He seems like the most likely suspect. He is, after all, a big supporter of Don and Candace's, and he's been their media manager, at least until Candace allegedly fired him. I think Don still looks to Mullen, though, and regularly communicates with him. In fact, it's possible that Don speaks on a more regular basis with Tim Mullen than Candace at this point. Maybe. That's just me speculating. Did Tim pitch this idea to Don as a way to generate interest in him again after his long absence while in jail? Does Tim have dreams of lifetime movie deals about the case and want to get a piece of the pie? It's kind of looking that way. Switching topics. YouTuber Tiffany Marie played an interview on her live yesterday with Jody Sue Brown and Chris McDonough. It was very interesting and I highly recommend that you check it out if you weren't there. I'll share a link in the description. Here are some of the highlights of Chris M's chat with Jody Sue. Jody talked to Chris about hearing Candace, Grandis, and the boys out searching for Summer on June 15th. In this version of that part of her June 15th story, Jody Sue said the boys were not really paying attention and they were playing when she saw them down near the creek. She describes them just being kids at that point and not really all that concerned about looking for their sister. She said they looked worried when Jody Sue saw them, possibly thinking they would be in trouble when Jody Sue told Candace about it. When Chris asked if the boys were playing hide and seek, which is what he had heard they were doing, Jody Sue said the boys were playing, but it wasn't hide and seek. She said she was on the main road and could see the end of Ben Hill Road, and Candace was down there. She said Andy Bernard showed up at that point. Don drove in just after that in the red Subaru, and the police arrived right around that same time. Chris then asked her about the red vehicle she thought she saw a glint of or a glimpse of earlier that afternoon, and asked her if she thought it could have been Don driving the Subaru. Jody Sue said she didn't think so. When Chris asked her to rate from 1 to 10 if it could have been Don, Jody Sue said she didn't want to answer that publicly. That's weird to me. Jody Sue told Chris that she didn't think Candace could have done anything to Summer based on the look on Candace's face when she saw her and the risk Candace took in calling 911. I'm guessing what Jody Sue meant by this is that if Candace had done something to Summer, she likely wouldn't have called 911 on herself. But I'm still not convinced Candace dialed 911 at all that day. And I think Candace and Don knew that they had to call 911 at some point and start creating this abduction narrative because Summer was gone. And Summer being gone would need to be explained eventually when people, maybe DCS and the neighbors, started asking, "Where's Summer?" Now, don't attack me for sharing these tidbits. We've all heard Jody Sue say some of this stuff before, but what is critical here is what Jody Sue says in this interview compared to what she said in other interviews and in her many videos on her channel. Some details of Jody Sue's story have changed over the 12 plus months since Summer disappeared, so that's why hearing this interview is important. Jody Sue then talks about Simpson Road and says the police were sitting there watching Summer's brothers. What confused me about this is, when did she witness this exactly? She made it sound like the cops were there when she joined Candace, the boys, and the other neighbor in the search for Summer. I thought the police showed up later, but maybe Jody Sue meant that as she continued to look for Summer, the cops showed up eventually and then parked, and at that point they were observing the boys from their car. I'm not sure. Jody Sue then talked about the infamous red truck driving by, and she said she witnessed it. Note that this is different from the red flash she claimed to see earlier in the day. Maybe some of you already know that, but maybe there are new people to the case who don't. I've personally always been confused by the whole red truck thing. Jody Sue said it was an older truck and the driver didn't look like he was on drugs. That's a very bizarre statement. Why would she say the driver of the red truck didn't look like he was doing drugs? Is that how she rates random people, random drivers she sees coming into Beach Creek? She said the driver was shorter than she is and had tattoos. He wasn't super muscular. He didn't look like a drug dealer. His hair was thin. She seemed to know a lot about what this driver looked like. It was a very detailed description. She also said that Andy Bernard saw the same red truck, and this has been confirmed by Bernard himself. Jody Sue said that Candace would call her sometimes for medicine if the kids were sick or if she needed things like toilet paper. I'd heard this before, but it drives home how dependent Candace was at certain points on other people like Jody Sue Brown. This may have been when Don was away from home for extended periods, and when Grandis didn't have access to a reliable vehicle, i.e., before Don gave her the red Subaru. And remember, Allie Harris also said that she took groceries to Grandis. Of course, we don't know if we can believe anything Allie says either, because she's been shown to be a liar. We heard a recording of Allie denying having gone to the truck on June 15th of 2021 and seen Summer. So that definitely speaks to her credibility. Jody Sue told Chris that she would occasionally watch Summer and the Wells boys, sometimes played video games with her kids, which prompted Chris to ask Jody Sue what she could tell him about Summer. Jody Sue responded by saying Summer was a tomboy who could keep up with her brothers, and Summer was fiery. But that was about all Jody Sue could say about little Summer. She didn't say anything substantial about Summer's personality, her interests, if she could speak and speak well, if she did anything on any day that stood out and that made it clear what she was really like as a human being, which is sad because Grandis and Don also haven't been able to say much about Summer either. Jody Sue told Chris that she thinks the last 2 years leading up to Summer's vanishing, and she used the word vanishing, by the way, were Summer's best years. I'd like to know more about what Jody Sue thinks about Summer's earlier years. What did she observe in those years? And if she saw something really awful, did she do anything to get Summer help? Did she call DCS? Just curious. In the more recent photos of Summer, we don't necessarily see Summer thriving physically. She clearly had a tooth issue. One of her front teeth was rotting, for example. And I'm sorry, but Summer appeared to be skin and bones in that photo of her wearing a bikini where she's standing near Grandis and Grandis. Jody Sue supported her statement by saying she thought that maybe Grandis being at 110 Ben Hill Road improved Summer's circumstances. It's as if she thinks Grandis had a positive effect on the kids' lives simply by living in the trailer there and overseeing Don and Grandis. Could that be true? I'm not so sure. I mean, Grandis is the mother who abandoned her own 3 daughters at a very critical time in their young lives. Has she become a more caring maternal type at this point in life? It's possible, I guess, but I'm not sure. There are rumors, just rumors, mind you, that Grandis enjoyed her pain medication. I don't know if that's true, but it's been said by some who know some extended family members, and we know that Grandis went to Holston Valley Medical Center on June 15th because of knee pain, and there's been a lot of speculation about what prescription Grandis came away with that day. But maybe Grandis did make things better. It's hard to know. But if she was so caring, you'd think she would have been screaming out Summer's name after she went missing and driving around putting up flyers. She didn't do any of those things, not even one time from what we've seen. Note that she did do that for her daughter, her missing daughter, Rosemarie Bly. Why not for Summer? Until the next time on Bed Crime Stories. Hey, on your way out, please hit that like button.